His redemption is going to be fire. He scored the other day. He did an 11-minute round. I will be champion by the end of the year.
I'm going to the gym and I'm training with the vision of me and John Fury hitting each other in the centre of the ring. I've been hit by Mike Tyson. He loves the sport as much as I do. Mike would for sure want to get involved with Misfits Boxing. Make this fight happen. The world wants to see it.
Welcome, Misfits Boxing fans. I'm Ben the Bane Davis, and as always, I've got my partner in crime, BL, alongside me. Today's episode is packed with excitement as we bring in some thrilling guests and the freshest updates in the world of crossover combat sports. BL, how are you?
Ben, buckle up because we got one heck of a show for you today. We'll be joined, but not one, but two special guests. Jake Paul drops a bombshell confirming his rematch with Tommy Fury, but that's not all. Neon stirs the pot by calling out Aiden Ross. Olbrook makes a long-awaited return, and HS stirs things up with a bold statement about his boxing return. And if that wasn't enough, Aiden Ross called us out.
Aiden said that Misfits is scared and we were dissing his unsanctioned, very not safe boxing events. I wouldn't call it dissing. I would call it justified criticism, including a behind-the-scenes video by one of the commentators, Wade, who was there. You know, it's not dissing. We just want people's safety to be held in the highest regard. And the last thing I want to see is someone looking for clout or more followers or more opportunities and winding up in the hospital or potentially dying. Jake Paul has officially offered Tommy Fury a whopping $20 million for a mixed martial arts trilogy. Now, BL, I'm going to tell you something. Personally, I don't put much stock into it. I don't believe this nonsense, but I'm curious what you think.
Well, I think possibly the offer was made because there's a key word in there, MMA trilogy. Now, I want to dissect that a little bit with yourself, Ben. What does he mean by an MMA trilogy?
MMA trilogy, 3 bouts is what I believe the implication is. Now, why on earth would anyone be interested in 2 boxers who really are not training in either kickboxing or jiu-jitsu or wrestling, sambo, any other discipline? Why would they be interested in an MMA trilogy? If it was 20 mil for a boxing rematch, hey, sparks the interest a little bit. That makes a lot more sense. But MMA?
Well, if he doesn't get in the ring with these crossover guys, who does he get in the ring with? You know, we've offered Vidal Riley, but we've seen Vidal Riley now has announced his fight. So where does Tommy Fury really lie? It's that weird enigma where he's almost a little bit too good for these influencer boxers, just tiny bit, but not good enough to go to the pro ranks and win anything. So where does he really exist? Has he exhausted all his options now?
I'm not sure. A guy like Tommy Fury with the last name that he has will have infinite options. I mean, it's a guy with resources as deep as the Mariana Trench. Let's not get it confused, right? I do believe that in terms of potential opponents, he's probably run through the majority of them.
Well, Ben, on the topic of call-outs, HS is targeting none other than Logan Paul. Now, the big question is, would Logan Paul take the bait and step back into the ring with HS Tiki-Toki?
To keep this video moving as quickly as possible, no. Not even close.
Well, HS said he's only going to be fighting 4 to 5 fights maximum on Misfits over the next couple years. So obviously his aspirations are high. So if it's not Logan Paul, who can we expect him to face in the Misfits boxing ring?
Well, I think Zerka is a pretty understandable opponent. Maybe Teo Richie, let's run it back. It was supposed to go down in January. Why not happen sometime March, April, or May? I think that makes a lot of sense. And listen, if you want Logan Paul, you want the big stars, put a string of knockouts together and consistently make Logan Paul the villain, antagonize him. You're going to have to draw him out of the WWE universe, and that's going to take a lot more than social media callouts. Well, talking about well-suited fights, Elle Brooke is the fighter that everyone seems to be avoiding. If we can't find her an opponent, we might just need to think outside the box, BL. What do you think?
Well, as she said on her tweet, no one really wants to fight her because we saw on her last fight, she has that devastating KO power. So who can we actually line her up against? I think the options are going to be limited, but I think we're going to have to start feeding her some higher level opposition.
Absolutely. And with that pretty belt that Elle Brooke has, I do think it will attract a lot of different competitors and people that maybe are a little bit outside of the realm of crossover boxing right now. From the pros, the legit world, attract them to the squared circle inside the Misfits banner. And I do believe that she deserves something big next.
I tell you something, if there's anyone who knows a thing or two about Elle Brooke, it has to be AJ Bunker. So let's welcome her in to the interview. I'm joined here with the one and only AJ Bunker. Welcome to Misfits News. How are we feeling?
Feeling good. Good to be here, Bill. Let's see, babe.
I want to start off by touching base on that recent fight. Obviously, it didn't go the way you wanted. Can you discuss through with us that performance?
I watched it back and I'm proud of my performance. I know I trained so hard. I know I trained, like, I know I put everything into that camp. I feel like she just caught me. She timed me and she caught me with a really good shot. And, you know, she's got a lot of power. She's a very strong girl. She had a weight advantage as well. And look, that's not me making excuses. She hit me good. She hit me clean. And yeah, my first time I've ever been knocked out. You know what? It's weird because I watched it back and I was like, it looks so much worse than it felt. You know what? I'm not disheartened. I'm still proud of myself. I knew it was going to be a very tough fight. And, you know, I just think I'm proud of myself that I took it because it was either I vacate the belt or I give it a shot. So at least I gave it a shot and I know I did everything I could. So
now I want to talk on that. What do you think of Elle Brooke's actual skills as a fighter now, having shared the ring twice now with her?
I think she's going to dominate the middleweight division. I honestly think the girls in the middleweight division are going to have trouble with her. She's skilled, she's strong, she's powerful. I honestly can't discredit her. I'm honoured to have shared the ring with her twice. And I think since our first fight, we've both come on so far in leaps and bounds. And Mark Tibbs has done a really great job with her.
Who do you think she's going to fight next?
Look, I've heard speculations that it might be a UFC fighter or an MMA fighter, or maybe a pro boxer. All I've got to say is that girl's got balls. Like, we've seen Elle take on really hard opponents, like the tough opponents. Like, girls a lot bigger than her. So I just think she's brave. She's got big balls, and I like that. I love that about her.
Well, let's transition away from Elle Brooke now, and I want to talk about your teammate Boxer G, who's headlining the upcoming event. Can you share any insider knowledge from the camp for the fans?
Well, I've actually been on holiday, but all I can say is I've seen how hard Fox works. I've seen the sacrifice he makes. Like, he's not from England. He leaves home, he leaves his girlfriend, he leaves his family to train over in the UK in bloody Luton, where it's, you know, there's not much going on, it's cold. So already the sacrifice he makes, and I forget, like, he's only 18, like he's so young. I'm so happy for him being main event, and I'm really excited for that fight. It's going to be really, really good.
Well, when you said 18 there, it actually made me think, oh my God, he's actually only 18 and he's going to be fighting on the main event against two people. So it's not your traditional style of boxing. What do you make of that fight? How's he going to get on with that?
No discredit to the other two fighters, but I think he absolutely wants prison. I've seen Fox, you know, fight guys a lot bigger, a lot heavier in terms of sparring, and he's trouble. He is a force to be reckoned with. So I honestly think the guys are going to have trouble with him. I think it's going to be a very early knockouts. I think it might be 2 knockouts. I don't know how it works with tag team if one gets knocked out.
I think when one gets knocked out, that's it.
Oh, okay. So I guess it's who's brave enough to get in the ring first with Fox.
It doesn't make it to the tag, do you think?
I've got really high hopes of Fox. He's a little prodigy, and I'm so proud of him.
Now, I want to know if there's any updates with Salt Pappy's return. We've seen him back in the gym. Could you let us know anything?
Yeah, I can't share any information. I don't know anything. But all I've got to say is, you know, he trains hard. His redemption is gonna be fire. Honestly, guys, be prepared, because I don't see he trains so hard. He trains so hard. Like, he sparred the other day. He did an 11-minute round. That is what you guys are messing with. He did 11 minutes non-stop with a tough opponent as well. So yeah, that guy, he's coming back, and he's coming back to win. I'm excited for it.
Well, let's go back to your career. We've spoken a lot about everyone else. However, there's an upcoming card and there's a championship fight that's just been announced. Nikki Haru versus Alexia Grace. Have you got your eyes set on the winner of that?
Guys, you know, as soon as that Elle Brooke fight finished, I said I'm going down to that lightweight division and I want to be champion again. So I will be taking on whoever the winner of that fight is. I won't rest until I get that fight. So I hope both girls are prepared for what's to come. I guess they got to get through each other, but I will be the challenge after that. I'll make sure of it. I want that belt. So yeah, you know what? Good luck to the girls. I'm happy for them, but that belt won't be with either of them for long.
And who do you predict will win that fight? Nikki Haru, Alexia Grace. We've seen Alexia Grace, and Nikki Haru actually has an ITB belt. Who's going to win that fight?
So I've done my research on both. I have seen Nikki Haru's fights. I've seen Alexia fight. I've actually given the edge to Nikki Haru at the moment, just based on performances. But then again, Nikki Haru's last opponent wasn't exactly the toughest of people. Yeah, at the moment, I'm giving it to Nikki Haru. I think she's been in camp for a very long time. I think she's been training in the shadows for a very long time, whereas I'm not sure if Alexia has. So at the moment, I think it'll be Nikki Haru.
Well, the last question I have for you is, what can the fans expect from your year 2024? Talk them through.
What you can expect is me coming back stronger, more improved and better, me becoming champion by the end of the year. That lightweight belt will be mine. And you know what, guys? We haven't had a female tag team fight yet either. And you know me, I like to be the first on everything. So, you know, if there's an opportunity, I know people have discussed it before. And I think I was asked the question about it after my fight, whether I want to be tag team with Elle, or I'd be up for that. So I think you'll definitely see me a lot more of me this year. I don't want to stop at one fight. I want to keep going as many as I can. So, and just improving. And yeah, I will be champion by the end of the year.
Well, it's always a pleasure hearing from AJ Bunker. Now, Ben, I want your takes on AJ's revelation about Salt Pappy going for an 11-minute round.
Listen, Salt Pappy, when he's active, the sport is at its best. And we all knew that he'd be hungry, especially considering the back-to-back defeats and that devastating KO his last time out. Salt Pappy coming back was inevitable. It's just against who? And the fact that he's working on the cardio, that was the big thing in my mind against Slim. The focus and the stamina. And if he's addressing one half of that, I better believe he's focusing on the other. Coach Solomon, big shouts to him. One of the best coaches in the game. I think the next time we see Salt Pappy, it's going to be the best version of him yet.
Well, I also think we should discuss AJ Bunker obviously going for that title fight. How do you think she fits into that?
Listen, AJ Bunker is a seriously impressive prospect. The growth, the development. I mean, she's a sponge, a student of the game. I believe that AJ Bunker can absolutely recapture that title, and 2024 could be a big year for Bunker.
Now, with Switcher's pace, I want to bring on a fan favorite and someone you've all been clamoring us to bring on. None other than the legendary Joe Egan and the man who's got his eyes set on John Fury. Let's welcome Joe Egan into the video. I'm joined here with well-renowned legend and infamous sparring partner of Mike Tyson, Joe Egan. How are we doing today?
Hello, BL. I'm doing very well, thank you.
Honestly, it's such an honor to have you on the Misfits Boxing channel, especially on Misfits News. Now, Joe, there is so many aspects of your remarkable career that I want to touch upon, but can you briefly give an outline to the people that don't know you at home of what are the most key accomplishments that you have?
I won 7 Irish boxing titles, which was a major achievement. Every fighter that climbs into the ring dreams about becoming a champion of the world. I wasn't good enough to become a champion of the world. I fought lots of world champions and it was an honor to share the ring with them. My main claim to fame is that I went the distance with Lennox Lewis, and then I was Mike Tyson's sparring partner for nearly 2 years, got battered by Mike Tyson for nearly 2 years. He made me cry many, many times, but he never put me down. And for me to be able to stay on my feet with the 2 best heavyweights of my era, it's an incredible claim to fame.
Well, I want to touch on something you said there. You actually fought 3-time heavyweight world champion Lennox Lewis, and you made it to the end. Can you describe that experience for us?
Well, I got beat in the New York City Golden Gloves. I got beat by a guy called Alfred Slim. He beat me. He went on to the next stage of the American Championships and he got knocked out by a man called Kamulo Doom, who went on to win the American title. He boxed against Canada and Lennox Lewis knocked out Kamulo Doom. So when the New York team was picked to box against the Canadian All-Stars, the New York champion who'd been knocked out by the man that got knocked out by Lennox Lewis wouldn't fight. So I said, I'll fight. My chin's granite. I can take Lennox Lewis's punches. I've been hit by Mike Tyson and he didn't knock me out. And if Mike didn't knock me out, Lennox couldn't knock me out in my mind. Anyway, I got in. Lennox was number 2 in the world at the time, Olympic bronze medalist in 84. I fought him in 85. It was the New York All-Stars against the Canadian All-Stars. But I stood on my feet, took the beating, and lost on points to Lennox. And as I said earlier, it was an honor and a privilege to share the ring with that man.
You've been very vocal about a certain fight you've been looking for. The one and only John Fury. What motivates you to pursue this matchup?
John Fury has been on television calling out Mike Tyson. He's a brave man, John, to call out Mike Tyson. But then in the same breath, he said, I will fight any 58-year-old on the planet that is brave enough to fight me. I'm 58. I'm brave enough to fight John. So I've stood up to the mark and I said, I'll fight you, John. He started calling me Dem and then he started calling me Dave. And now he started calling me by my own name. A fighter's respect, I've earned the right for that man to call me by my own name. I don't call him Dem or Dave. I call him John Fury. I show him the respect as a fighter. I won't disrespect the man. I won't slate him. He was like me. He wasn't much good either. He was just tough like me. He worked on the building site and then went to fight on the night. I worked 3 jobs. I worked the door in a pub. I worked the door in a nightclub and I worked in the airport and had to train and then fight as a pro. We never had the luxury of a training camp, so we never fulfilled any potential that we had. But what we both were was very tough. I hope Misfits Boxing make the match. I believe that AMS and KSI will make the match.
It looks like John Fury is currently avoiding it. He's making a lot of excuses. Now, why do you think he's avoiding this fight?
He obviously hasn't been offered the deal that he wants. If he's offered the deal that he wants, maybe he'll take the fight. He has to stand up now and toe the line, because otherwise he's going to disgrace his family and he's going to disgrace the travelling community, who are known for their fighting spirit. When he got told that I'd stepped up to the mat, his first reaction wasn't a nice reaction. He's on about taking his coat off and taking it to the street. I didn't ask him for a street fight. He asked for a man that had the courage to climb into the ring and box him. And I've stood up with the courage to stand into the ring and box him. Now he's talking about taking his coat off. Now, when he challenged Mike Tyson to a boxing match, Mike Tyson didn't respond with, "When I see you on the street, I'm taking my coat off. You've called it on now." So why did John Fury react like that to me when I accepted his challenge? It wasn't very dignified. But he hasn't been conducting himself with dignity recently anyway, throwing chairs up the air at young YouTubers and young boxing fans and saying nasty things. I pride myself on my manners. I won't disrespect John Fury in a verbal match. I will in a boxing ring. I will hurt him, the same as he will hurt me. It will be a good fight if it happens. KSI, AMS, Misfit Boxing, please make this fight happen. The world wants to see it.
Everyone wants to see it, and I personally want to see it as well. But from a man that is from a traditional boxing route, what do you make of this emergence of crossover boxing, especially being on Misfits Boxing right now?
I think it's great. I get interviewed regular. Theo introduced me to MAMS. He introduced me to KSI. He introduced me to this world of Misfits Boxing. But I used to praise Misfits Boxing before I ever met any of them, because they're introducing a whole new audience to the sport I love. Now, there's 100 million plus of people that would not necessarily watch boxing because of their love for the YouTubers. Now, if 1% of them 100 million suddenly decide, I like this sport, I'm going to watch other elements of this sport, whether it be professional boxing, amateur boxing, white collar boxing. Boxing benefits from 1%, which is a million new fans. And that's just 1%. Misfits Boxing is introducing a whole new fan base to the sport I love. And I'm delighted for it. To be able to work with Misfits Boxing, to work with MAMS, to work with KSI, to work with us all. It's a privilege and an honour at this stage of my life to be involved at this level of the sport I love.
If John Fury doesn't take this fight, which is a possibility, are there any plans to make that transition anyhow to Misfits Boxing and potentially go into the heavyweight division?
I don't know, to tell you the truth. I haven't talked beyond John Fury because I want him to take the fight. He is my driving force. I'm going to the gym and I'm training with the vision of me and John Fury hitting each other in the centre of the ring. I'm not saying that if I was matched with somebody else, I wouldn't have the same desire, but I've been given no names of anybody else.
Now, I do have to ask, given Mike Tyson's recent exhibition against Roy Jones Jr., do you think Tyson would ever pose any interest in participating in something like Misfits Boxing?
Yes, of course. He got in with Roy Jones. I'm not getting him with Mike Tyson. Don't be. Listen, I still get nightmares of the punches that Mike Tyson hit me with all them years ago. That's one thing a fighter never loses, is his power. John Fury hasn't got the power of Mike Tyson. Now, they're talking about Mike getting in to do a fight with this cage fighter, some hard-punching cage fighter. I don't know whether Mike will have the same respect for the cage fighter as he had for Roy Jones Jr., and he might put the cage fighter away in the first round. Who knows? Mike would for sure want to get involved with Misfits Boxing. For sure. Why wouldn't he? He loves the sport as much as I do. He will know. I'm sure he's watched Misfits Boxing on YouTube. You know, there's been some great fights. That night I was down as a guest in Leeds. There were some phenomenal fights. The women's fight in particular, the world title fight, big upset on the night. But a great fight while it lasted.
Now, the final question I do have for you, Joe, is looking ahead into 2024, what can the fans expect from Big Joe Egan?
Well, I do a lot of acting. My boxing career finished, and Tama Hassan, the actor, took a shine to me, introduced me to his agent. She sent me for different auditions. The first one was the Sherlock Holmes film, and I was to play Mac Murdo. Got the part, went to read through in Claridge's. My nameplate, Joe Egan, next to Robert Downey Jr., Hugh Law, Rachel McAdams, who got the Academy Award for Southpaw, Eddie Marston, sitting up to Guy Ritchie, the director, Joel Silver, the CEO of Warner Brothers. And Guy said, Joe, I've been trying to get you in one of my films for a long time. And Robert Downey Jr. looked at me. This is Iron Man. And he said, Joe, come with a fearsome reputation. I couldn't believe these people even knew me. It made my mum so proud. I recently lost my mum and dad. They both went in 2022. But it made my mum so proud because she didn't want me to box. No mother wants to see her son be beaten up. And the last film I done was called Prize Fighter with Russell Crowe. So Robert Downey Jr., an Academy Award winner, calls me Big Joe. And Russell Crowe, an Academy Award winner, calls me Joe. To get called my own name in 2 films by 2 Academy Award winners was incredible. I'm enjoying the acting, VL. And my ambition, my dream, I've always dreamed it before I ever done any acting, to be a baddie in a Bond film.
Oh, wow, that'd be amazing.
Oh, would I love to be a baddie in a Bond film? You know, they've had Odd Job, they've had Jaws. Why can't they have Big Joe? My life is good. And now getting this opportunity with Misfits Boxing, like I said, I would love to work with Misfits Boxing. I would love to fight for them, but I would love to work for them because the hospitality and the friendship that they showed me and my friends at the show in Leeds, down to young Theo here, was incredible. I got introduced to so many wonderful people and it was a lovely, lovely experience. And I'm looking forward to more. And I'm hoping, as I said, to fight on one of the bills, maybe 2, who knows? Get the first one out of the way first, 1 fight at a time. That's what my dad used to say. And I'm hoping that this one fight is John Fury.
Well, Ben, what an absolute honor it was to have Joe Egan on Misfits News. Now, Ben, let's talk about that potential fight against John Fury. Do you think it should happen?
I absolutely believe it should happen. John Fury's been a character in the Misfits universe for years, and he's allergic to not being the center of attention. This guy is drawn to the spotlight like a moth to a light, and John Fury competing inside the ring, I think would do the biggest numbers that we have yet. So absolutely, yeah, let's get him in there.
Well, Joe Egan has also fought Lennox Lewis. He took him the full round. I tell you what, it really does scare me to put John Fury in the ring with someone like this. It could actually turn out a lot worse than what people think.
I want to make a final note on something Egan said. Mike Tyson talking about being interested in crossover boxing. Are you kidding me? In Misfits, if we get Mike Tyson, that would be bananas. What an episode. We had some incredible guests today, and the action never stopped from the get-go. To all you Misfits boxing fans out there, don't forget to like, subscribe, and mark your calendars every Tuesday and Thursday. Thanks for tuning in. This has been Misfit News.